I had a client who used to come into coaching fired up, and I mean like really fired up. She would sit down, eyes wide, hands moving, voice full of energy, and she would tell me about the thing, the new thing, the offer that she was going to build, the content idea that she was going to launch, the new direction that she finally felt clear about, the partnership that she thought could change everything. And I would sit there, listen, hold space, and let her talk. Because you can't coach someone properly if you're just waiting for your turn to speak. But at some point, I would bring her back and be like, okay, let's stay with this idea. What would it actually take to build it? Then something would happen. Her body would shift, the excitement would drop a little, and her eyes would look away. Her voice would slow down. And the second we actually got close to doing the work, hashing out the details, and evaluating commitment, we would bump against some discomfort. And then another idea would appear. Not a bad idea either. That was the trap. It was usually a good idea. So she would start building on that new idea. Then another idea would then branch off from that idea. And suddenly, the original idea, the one that she was excited about 10 minutes earlier, was old news. The new idea had the juice now. And I watched this happen over and over again. Not because she was lazy and not because she was dumb, not because she didn't even care. She cared deeply, but her nervous system had already learned something. New ideas felt safe. New ideas felt exciting. New ideas felt like movement. Finishing, that felt different. Finishing brought pressure. It brought decisions. Finishing brought the fear of being judged. It meant that she had to sit with the question every business owner eventually faces. What if I put this out there and it doesn't work? So instead of staying with the discomfort, her brain gave her a new, shiny idea. And for a few minutes, she felt alive again. And you know that feeling, right? It's that little spark in your chest when the new idea starts to formulate and you get excited about it. Like the shoulders lift, your mind starts racing, and you can already see the new website. You can see the new offers, the new post, the new audience that you're going to attract, the new version of you that has finally figured it out. It feels like clarity. But sometimes it's not clarity. Sometimes it's escape. And that is where a lot of business owners get stuck. They're not short of ideas, they are drowning in them. They have notebooks full of offers, they have Google Docs full of plans, voice notes that they never replay, half built funnels, and courses bought but they never finished. Brand ideas that they maybe loved for days and content plans that died before the second week. And every time the work gets uncomfortable, another idea comes walking in like it owns the place. Come on. How many times can we call it strategy before we admit it's a pattern? This is what we call shiny object syndrome. But I want to be clear. Shiny object syndrome is not just getting distracted. It's not just about being creative. It's not just having a lot of ideas. Shiny object syndrome is a habit. It is a repeated emotional response. Something gets hard, something feels slow, something exposes doubt, something requires patience, something asks you to stay committed past the fun part. Then your body says, nope, let's go find something that feels better. So you do. You chase the next thing. And for a moment, it works. You feel productive, you feel hopeful, you feel like you're back in control. But then 3 weeks later, you are staring at the same business with the same problems, wondering why nothing is really moving. That's the brutal part. Shiny object feels like action, but a lot of the time they are avoidance with just better lighting. And if you do not learn to observe that pattern, it will keep running your business from the back seat. You will keep changing the offer. You change the niche, you'll change your brand, you'll change the pricing, you'll change the plan. And every time you change it, it will feel that little rush again. But that business will stay stuck because the problem was never the idea. The problem was your relationship with discomfort. That is where most business advice misses the mark because people tell you to pick a niche, build a funnel, post more content, make better offers, create better systems. And listen, those things matter. But what happens if the person building the system keeps abandoning it the second it feels uncomfortable? What happens if the person writing the offer does not trust themselves long enough to test it? And what happens if the person creating the brand keeps changing direction because sitting with one clear identity feels too exposed? That is not a marketing problem. That is a habit problem. And habits don't stay hidden, they leak. They leak into your brand, your leadership, they leak into your customer experience, and in how people feel when they deal with your business. You may think your brand is your logo, your colors, your website, your content, or maybe even your tagline, but your brand begins much earlier than that. Your brand begins with what people experience from you repeatedly. Do you follow through? Do you stay clear? Do you communicate when pressure rises? Do you finish what you start? And do you hold the standard when the excitement wears off? Or do people feel drift? Do they feel inconsistency, the unfinished energy, the feeling that you're always about to build something great, but never quite land the plane? That becomes your brand. Not because you meant for it to happen, but because repeated behavior always teaches people what to expect. And that was why I wrote Habit to Brand. I wrote it for a business owner who is tired of fixing the outside of the business while keeping the same patterns showing up underneath. Because you can redo the website, you can hire another designer, you can polish the bio, and you can buy courses. You can even start a podcast. You can do the rebranding again and again and again. But if the same habit is running inside the founder, the same experience will eventually show up outside of the business. Different packaging, though, just same pattern. And that is exhausting. I know because I have lived this version of that myself. I have chased countless ideas. I have rebuilt things too early. I have tried to become the next version of myself before the habits were installed. I have felt that buzz of a new direction and mistaken it for real movement. But here's the truth. A business does not become strong because the founder has ideas. A business becomes strong because the founder learns which ideas deserve commitment and which ideas are just emotional escape routes. That takes awareness. It takes honesty. It takes the guts to look at your own patterns without beating yourself up. Because this is not about shame. It is about seeing the loop. Now, once you see it, you can interrupt it. And once you interrupt it, you can choose a better response. Now, if your response is better and you do it enough time, it starts to become your new normal. And that is how habits change. And when the habits change, your environment around you changes. And that is how the experience that people have with your business changes. And when that happens, your brand starts to change. Not through clever marketing, through real repetition. Habit to brand walks you through that chain. Your habits create your actions create your environment, and then the environment creates the experience. Now, when you have a great experience and the experience becomes something that people expect, it becomes the brand that people remember, repeat, and trust, or don't trust. That's the game. Now, if you are a business owner who keeps feeling pulled in 10 directions, this book will help you pause and ask a better question. Not what should I build next, but what patterns keep making me abandon what I already said mattered? That question can change everything because maybe the next level of your business doesn't need a new idea. Maybe it needs you to stay with the right one long enough to build the foundation. Maybe it needs you to stop running from the discomfort that comes right before real growth. And maybe it needs one better repetition, one cleaner decision, one cleaner response, one habit that actually supports the brand that you say you want to build. So if this hit something in you and you felt that little punch in the gut because you know that you have been chasing ideas instead of finishing the work, grab a copy of Habit to Brand. Read it slowly. Do the work. Don't just consume it like another shiny object. Use it as a mirror. Use it to see the habits shaping your business right before marketing ever gets blamed, because your brand is already forming. And if you're a business owner who keeps feeling pulled in 10 directions, this book will help you pause and ask a better question. Not what should I build next, but what pattern keeps making me abandon what I already said mattered? That question can change everything. Because maybe the next level of your business does not need a new idea. Maybe it needs you to stay with the right one long enough for you to build the foundation. Maybe it needs you to stop running from the discomfort right before the growth. Maybe it needs one better repetition, one clearer decision, one cleaner response, one habit that actually supports the brand that you say you want to build. So pick up your copy of Habit to Brand today and follow the checkout below. And remember this: you do not need another shiny idea to become the business owner that you said that you wanted to be. You need to become the kind of person who can stay with the right idea long enough to build something real. Be conscious and deliver excellence.